something. Oh, never mind. The heat is on. All right, anyway, Shabbat Shalom, happy Sabbath. I'm Brother Al. This is my reader, Brother Kevin, coming to you live and direct from the vineyard of Israel. In the name of the Most High Yah, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, with a message on this true Sabbath day, the seventh day of the week. Right? We thank Him first and foremost for their revelation. We thank Him for a mind to understand and walk therein. Right? It seems small to a lot of people, but it's actually a big thing. A lot of people know Saturday is the Sabbath, but they not gonna do it. So we thank Him that we don't have that type of mind when we read the Bible, when we read the Scripture, when we hear His word, right? Because believe it or not, that's more common than not. So let's open up. Today's message is entitled "The Shepherd, the Sheep, and Living Waters." The shepherd, the sheep, and living waters. The shepherd, the sheep, and living waters. Right? So the idea, it is like a shepherd or a good shepherd, and a good shepherd's responsibility. What does he do? He doesn't lose any of his sheep. He protects his sheep, right? He take them to the well, and let them draw water out of the well, so that they can sustain life. Also he feed them, right? He protect them from the wolf. And if anything happened to him, he go out and he recover them, right? He regathers his sheep. Because you know why? All his sheep know his voice, right? So we're going to use a passage in the Old Testament as a shadow or as a mirror, because it's really teaching us about Yeshua. And what his mission was and what he did. So we're going to use that Old Testament passage, and we're going to see how it parallels. Because we just got to find out one thing. The vineyard of Israel is that Yeshua come in the volume of the book. Volume 1, that's Genesis. Volume 2, that's Exodus. It's written of him, right? All 66 volumes, right? They written, and they written a specific work. That's the will of the Father. That's to die. That's to recover, reconcile the sheep, the people back to the Most High. Right? He's the only one that can bring salvation. So that's what the book is telling us. So let's start out, matter of fact, with Psalms 40. Let's go Psalms 40. So once we get to that Old Testament passage, it's going to be talking about Jacob. But Jacob is going to be a shadow of Yehoshua, who the world called Jesus, right? So he's going to be a shadow. So we got to pay attention to what he's doing and his works. Because the Messiah did the same thing, right? So the whole book is written about him. But let's see. This is Psalms 40, verse 6. Hearken to the scripture.
Sacrifice and offering. Thou didst not desire.
That's right. He never really wanted, not even from us. He'd rather you obey his voice. Sacrifice and offering for sin, he don't want that. He'd rather you be obedient. Go ahead.
Mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required.
What that mean, my ears have thou opened? I've paid attention to what you wanted, to your will, right? Your will has become my will, right? That's why when Yeshua came and he prayed, he said, not my will, Father, but thy will be done, right? Go ahead.
7. Then said I,
what?
Lo, I come. In the volume of the book.
A lot of people don't believe that, right? A lot of people don't believe it. They think it's written more specifically about the nation of Israel. It is, but they're a shadow too.
Exactly.
The nation of Israel is the shadow of the real Israel. The real Israel, the seed, the one seed Israel is Yeshua. Right? And the whole Bible is letting us know that. Right? That's what it's pointing. That's who the nation is mirroring, mimicking, or was supposed to anyway. That's why he gave them a priesthood, to mimic his priesthood. Right? That's why he gave them laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why he did all of those. That's why he was separated them out of all of the sons, of Adam. Because he was separated. He was chosen. Right? But it's just a mirror image. That's all it is. Go ahead.
It is written of me.
What is?
Volume of the book.
He said, I come in the volume of the book. What book is he talking about? We reading it out of this book, right? Mm-hmm. This the one he's speaking about. He said, I come in the volume of the book. Only thing in the Old Testament, we just don't see his name. Mm-hmm. You see the same words, all these different characters that he used from Samuel to Samson to David to Moses and Aaron and Abraham and all of these just point you to him. Because when he come in the flesh, you should be able to pick up his behavior. You should be able to pick him out because of what he does based on what you've read previously. They didn't have no New Testament in the time when Yeshua walked the earth. So you got to think, if you was in that time, how would you be able to pick him up? Because this is the one that's going to bring salvation. Mm-hmm. And you need to be one of his sheep. And he said, my sheep know my voice, meaning my word. So if it's not talking about him, or if you didn't get the picture of the point, you wouldn't be able to recognize him when he came in the flesh. You wouldn't be able to recognize him as the Lamb of God. Mm. You wouldn't be able to recognize him. You'll be questioning everything he did, just like the scribes and the Pharisees. Mm-hmm. You'll recognize him as a false prophet. Mm. And your salvation is hinging on this. Because he coming to do the will. Go ahead.
8. I delight to do thy will, O Yah.
You see that? That's his whole purpose. That's what the book written about. Him and his delight to do the will of the Father. That's why when he came in the flesh, what did he always tell the scribes and the Pharisees? I did not come of my own. I was sent. I was sent. I didn't come to do my own will. He kept on saying that. And they still didn't get it. But it's telling us here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thy law is within my heart.
See, this is how it's supposed to be. The law is supposed to be in your mind. Right? Your heart. Not just when you get to the renewed covenant or the new covenant. Even in the old covenant. That was the point with the generation in the wilderness. He said, this is a generation that does always error in their heart. They didn't know his ways. They didn't meditate on his words and his law. It wasn't in their heart. All right? That don't mean you know every single law. That means you know my ways and you meditate on my law day and night. It's in me. So whatever is within you is what's coming out. Right? You get it's like a river of living water. That's what the word is, water. And it's the water, it's living water, right? Which he is the fountain. He is the way, right? Did you finish that?
Yes, sir.
So let's back up real quick. Pick me up at Genesis 29. Sorry, y'all. It wouldn't come out.
Thirsty much?
No, it wouldn't come out. COVID or something. But anyway, like I said, we're reading about Jacob, right? But remember, Jacob is a foreshadow of the Messiah. Jacob is a foreshadow of a Mashiach. Right? So let's start at verse 1. This is Genesis 29 and 1. Now remember, Christ got a flock too. You understand? All shepherds have a flock, right? A flock of sheep or goat, whatever the case may be. They got a flock. And their job is to protect them, to water them, to feed them, right? To lead and guide them, make sure they good. If one of them run off, make sure you go get them, right? That's their job. Best I can explain so far. They probably got a little bit more, but you get the point. Mm-hmm. And in the old days, they couldn't go. They dug wells, and they watered the flock from the wells, right? Sometimes the wells have a big stone they put on the top to keep the water from coming out. So they had to. Anyway, you'll see. Genesis 29, verse 1. Hearken to the scripture.
Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east.
That's right. He going to the land of Laban, right? His mother's brother, because they sent him away because Esau wanted to kill him. So they said, go to Laban to Syria, his mother's brother. Go ahead. So he on his journey.
2. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it.
Okay, you see that? You see what's happening? A well in the field. Once he looked, and it's 3 flocks of sheep. Go ahead.
For out of that well they watered the flocks.
You see that? You need to remember this principle. Because Christ is that well when we get to the new. That's what he's been telling you. I'm the fountain. A fountain, a well, one and the same. Now, what's happening out at this well?
Water the flocks.
This is where you come and you water the flocks. You did? Go ahead.
And the great stone was upon the well's mouth.
Sound familiar? Does it sound familiar? A great stone was on the what?
Well's mouth.
Exactly. Go ahead and read.
And thither were all the flocks gathered.
Mm-hmm.
And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth.
You see that? You've seen this before. All the flocks gathered around the well, right? And they rolled a stone away from the well's mouth. Go ahead.
And watered the sheep.
And did what?
Watered the sheep.
You see that?
Yep.
That's Bible. I had to get that in while I could. Go ahead.
And put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place.
You see it? So what happened? Once they watered the flock, they put the stone back in place. Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto them,
What did he say?
My brethren, whence be ye?
Where you come from?
And they said, Of Haran, or we.
That's where we're from. Go ahead. Haran. Go
And
ahead.
he said unto them,
Yes.
Know ye Laban,
He said, do you know Laban?
the son of Nahor?
Uh-huh.
And they said, We know him.
Yes.
And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well.
Okay.
And behold,
What?
Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep.
That's right. Rachel, his daughter, coming with the sheep, right? These are her father's sheep, Laban's sheep. So she coming. What happened?
And he said, Lo, it is yet high day.
It's high day, like noon, right? It's noon, right? Go ahead.
Neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep.
He said it's not time that we should gather the cattle together. Go ahead.
Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them.
But look what happened next.
And they said,
What?
We cannot until all the flocks be gathered together.
That's the truth. So I want you to understand this. We read about sheep. Okay, maybe a little boy. It ain't TV, right? It ain't that exciting. But look at what it says. It's a time and place for everything. Is that Bible?
Yep.
It's a time and place for everything. And he's talking about watering the sheep. And he said, we cannot water the sheep until when? All the flocks is gathered. This is what you are reading about in the New Testament. Him dying, coming to do the will of the Father. He the fountain of living waters, right? And he said, I got sheep that's not of this fold.
Yep.
Huh? And he said, I got to send my people out to get them. What meaning what? We got to gather them because what? It's time to water them. But we can't water them until they all gathered.
Together.
Right? Go ahead.
Until they rolled the stone from the well's mouth.
Now that's the time when
Noonday.
that's the time when they roll a stone away from the whale's mouth, right? So what you reading about the whale's mouth is the same thing it said about the sepulcher when they get in. So we give the time. It all lines up. They can't water the sheep until all of them gathered.
Yep.
So when do we gather them? First we got to remove the stone from the whale's mouth. So first he got to do the will of the Father. First he got to be the Passover lamb, right? Then the unleavened bread. Then he got to be the first fruits. He got to rise. Or if you don't like that language, first he got to the death, burial, and resurrection has to take place. Because you got to remember about Christ. He's the good shepherd. You understand? And the good shepherd got a job. And we're going to see what that is. This we do with the Lord permit. But go ahead, let me see what verse we at.
End of 8.
Then
Then we watered the sheep.
we When did we water the sheep? Start over on that verse, please.
And they said,
Uh-huh.
We cannot
Mhm.
until all the flocks be gathered together.
That's right.
Until they roll the stone from the well's mouth.
You see that? We can't water the sheep before, right? Before he died, before he resurrect, right? Go ahead.
Then we watered the sheep.
Then, when? After they gathered and after he rolled the stone away from the well's mouth. Go ahead.
9. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with his father's sheep, for she kept them.
That's good. But I just want to read that little bit to show you it's a lot going on in a little bitty passage. Right, let's go to Psalm 23. That's just a shadow. That's just a shadow. Verse 1. Go ahead. I want you to pay. Go ahead. Psalm 23, verse 1.
Yah is my shepherd. I shall not want.
Who is the shepherd?
Yah.
Right. Go ahead.
He making me to lie down in green pastures.
That's right. So that's what a shepherd does. He make the sheep lie down in green pastures. What else he do?
He leaded me beside the still waters. He restored my soul.
Right. Now that's a process. We restore my soul. That means he got a job to do first. Go ahead.
He leaded me in the paths of righteousness.
So you see what the shepherd does? He leads the sheep. And this is the good shepherd. So he leads the sheep in a way of what? Righteousness. All right, go ahead.
For his name's sake.
For his name's sake, yes.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
What happened?
I will fear no evil.
You will?
I will not.
Okay.
For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me.
Thou preparest the table before me. Where at?
In the presence of mine enemies.
That's right.
Thou anointest my head with oil.
See, he said your rod and your staff, that's the shepherd's weapon. All right, the rod and the staff, they do comfort me. He said, so much so, you prepare a table before me, bro.
In the presence of mine enemies.
I mean, you going to protect me wherever I'm at. Go ahead.
Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over.
I'm looking at you to get my blessing. Isn't that what the sheep do? They want to eat, they want to drink. What they got to do? Rely on the shepherd.
Yep.
Right, go ahead.
Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow me
When?
all the days of my life.
Yes, sir.
And I will dwell in the house of Yah forever.
I will dwell in the house of Yah forever. Okay. Let's go over to Jeremiah 17 right quick. I'm skipping a little bit. You know what? Yeah, we'll okay. So he said, I'm the good shepherd, right? What I tell you, Jeremiah 17? Okay. Let me get there. Hold on. Let's come back to that one. Pick me up at Isaiah 49. Isaiah 49. We're going to get Jeremiah 17 in a minute. You there? Pick me up at verse 1. Hearken to the scripture.
Listen, O owls, unto me.
Who?
And hearken, ye people from far.
That's right.
Yah,
Go ahead.
Yah hath called me from the womb.
Who did he call from the womb? Sure. If we would have went to Luke 1, we could have saw that, right? But he said, listen, O people from afar. You know, his sheep were scattered. You understand? We're going to show you his sheep were scattered, and it's his job to recover. And his sheep is both houses of Israel. The whole house, Israel and Judah, right? And his sheep were scattered. And Israel was scattered afar off. And that's why they scattered to the isles or to the nations. And that's why he's saying, listen, O isles, right? Because my people, my sheep hear my voice, right? So he said, listen, O isles, hearken unto me, who? Ye people from far off. So even though you in the midst of all the nations, you still are my people. So my sheep hear my voice, so I need you to listen. Go ahead.
From the bowels of my mother hath he made mention of my name.
Why would he do that? What's the purpose of him calling him from his mother's womb? Because he's his servant. Right? And remember, he come to do the will of the Father. Right? Go ahead.
And he had made my mouth like a sharp sword. And the shadow of his hand had he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. And his quiver hath he hid me. And said unto me,
What?
Thou art my servant, O Israel.
Yes.
In whom I will be glorified.
That's right. He talking about Yeshua. He call him O Israel. He said, you my servant, and you, that's why I'm going to be glorified. Right? Go ahead.
Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with Yah, and my work with my Elohim.
Go ahead.
And now said Yah,
What?
that formed me from the womb.
What'd he say?
To be his servant.
To do what?
To bring Jacob again to him.
That's his job. To reconcile the nation back to the Most High Yah. At this time, you got the 10 tribes, they scattered amongst the Gentiles. You got Judah and Benjamin in the land. And all of them is like sheep that have gone astray. Right? So if they sheep that gone astray, the shepherd got to recover them. Right? Go ahead. So he said, you my servant from the womb to bring Jacob again. So it take work. What do we have to do? He got to water them. He got to gather them. So he have to, he the salvation, in other words. All right, this is what he chosen to do. Go ahead.
Though Israel be not gathered.
You see that?
Yep.
Though Israel be not gathered.
Yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of Yah. And my Elohim shall be my strength.
That's right.
And he said,
What?
It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob. And to restore the preserved of Israel.
Okay, so at this time, the 10 tribes are scattered. Only 2 of them was preserved. Right? The 2 that's preserved is Judah and Benjamin. That's the preserved of Israel. Right? The other ones, they scattered about. He said, because he just told you, though Israel be not gathered, in order for him to gather, that means somebody had to be scattered, right? We just skipping over that part today. But they've been scattered across by the Assyrians. They put them in all kind of different lands. So he said, and that's why he started out with here, O isles of afar. He said, it's a light thing that you should raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. Go ahead.
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
I will also give thee for a light unto the Gentiles.
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
That's right. Go ahead.
Thus said Yah, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despiseth, to him whom the nation abhorreth,
right,
to a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because Yah that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel.
Yes.
And he shall choose thee.
What you mean?
Thus said Yah, in an acceptable time have I heard thee.
You see, everything working in an acceptable time. That's why when we started out in Genesis 29, I was telling you to pay attention to the timing of stuff. And now he's starting to let you know, I've heard you in an acceptable time. When is that acceptable time?
And in a day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages.
Right. So who did he give for a covenant to the people? Sure. Yeshua. He was a covenant to the people. What people? Let's go read it right quick. We're coming right back here. Hebrews 8. You there? Hebrews 8 and 8. Go ahead.
For finding fault with them, he said, behold,
Finding fault with them, with the people. Right? Go ahead.
behold, the days come, saith Yah,
Yes.
when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Yeah, I'm going to give you for a covenant of the people. Right? This is what he's telling them about. It's going to come a day. Remember, we start at the acceptable time in the day of salvation. That's when I'm going to help you. That's when I'm going to give you for a covenant of the people. And that's what he's telling you about right here in Hebrews 8. Go ahead.
And with the house of Judah.
With the who?
And with the house of Judah.
See? Why is he telling them two houses? Why wouldn't he just say with the one? Because he got to go and gather. Two got to be put together. Right? They got to be put together under one shepherd. Right? It's one shepherd, and it is a flock that's scattered. Right? So he got to go regather them and bring them all together, back together as one. And he'll be the one shepherd that's leading and guiding them. Right? But go ahead. Go back to, what verse you at?
9.
Okay.
You want that?
What do it say? I don't want it. Go back to Isaiah 49. Yeah. So the heritage, the whole house of Jacob, when they was united, that's what the desolate heritage is. They've been desolate. Their land is desolate. They've lost their heritage. The 10 tribes is no longer called by the name of Israel. We call them Gentiles. And they spread it afar off. They scattered afar off unto the ends of the earth, unto all the nations. Now his job is to go and gather them and bring them back unto their brethren and unto their God, to the Most High. Yeah, that's why when you see it in the covenant, he said, I'm going to be their God and they're going to be my people. Versus other places, he said, before the new covenant, he said, I'm not going to be their God and they're not going to be my people. So when he take his name back, they go back to what they was before. They was Israel, which was the nations or Gentiles. All right? They only Israel when they married to the Most High. All right, so what verse we at? So that's the desolate heritage. Go ahead, verse 9. This Isaiah 49 and 9. Go ahead.
That thou mayest say to the prisoners, go forth. To them that are in darkness.
That's right. The ones that's in darkness is the ones without their God. The ones without salvation. The ones that scattered. Because he's the light. Remember they said in Matthew the 4th, it said, them that sat in darkness have seen a great light. He's the great light. Right? He's freeing the prisoners out of darkness. If you go to Isaiah 42, verse 18 through 22, you can see who those prisoners are. The house of Israel. Go ahead.
Go forth to them that are in darkness.
See, he's sending them. Remember, he's sending his servant or he's sending the shepherd to go gather the sheep. Go ahead.
Show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places.
That's right. So they feed in all other places except in your green pasture. Right, go ahead.
10. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them.
Right.
For he that had mercy on them shall lead them. Even by the springs of water shall he guide them.
You see that? Where is he gonna guide them to?
By the springs of water.
By the springs of water. Because what happened? When they get to the water, that means they all gathered, and then you get to water the sheep. And it's gonna happen, like he said here, in an acceptable time and in the day of salvation. Right? Just like when he rolled a stone away from the well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the day he was pointing us to. What verse you at?
11.
Okay.
And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, keep going.
Listen a little bit more.
These shall come from far,
You see what? They shall come from where?
far.
Yes.
And lo,
Mhm.
these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Shinnim.
So he gonna bring them back. Yes.
Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and bring forth into singing, O mountains.
Mm-hmm.
For Yah had comforted his people.
He
his
have done
people.
what?
Comforted
Who?
his people,
Mm-hmm.
and will have mercy upon his afflicted.
You see that? Now who is his people? Israel. Right? He's comforted them. How? By sending the shepherd. Remember, Psalms 23 said, your staff, your rod and your staff, they do comfort me. Right? And now he's telling you he's comforted his people by sending the shepherd to regather. Go, what verse? Did you finish that verse?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go see how they got scattered real quick. Jeremiah 23. They say he's going to lead them to the waters, right? Jeremiah 23. Let's just see how they got scattered first, though. Because we're going to find out who that water is on our way to this, too. You there? Pick me up at verse 1. Go ahead.
Woe be unto the pastors
For what?
that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
You see that? The other pastors who he lent his sheep out to, they wasn't good shepherds. They destroyed and scattered the sheep. They the cause. Right? Go ahead.
Saith Yah.
Uh-huh.
Therefore thus said Yah,
What?
the Elohim of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Against the pastors that feed my people.
Against the pastor that feed. What did he say against them?
Ye have scattered my flock
Look at that. You scattered my flock.
and driven them away.
Now what flock is he talking about?
Israel.
Who was scattered?
The 10.
You understand? Who was scattered? The 10 and Judah some too, but he let them come back. But he said, you scattered. Many pastors have scattered my flock. Go ahead.
And driven them away.
You've driven them away. Go ahead and read.
And have not visited them.
You have not visited them. Go ahead and read.
Behold,
Uh-huh.
I will visit upon you the evil of your doing.
You see, that means you're going to have to pay for what you did. I'm going to visit upon you the evil you're doing. Yes, sir.
Saith Yah.
Uh-huh.
And I will gather the remnant of my flock.
So you see how it's going to work? All of them ain't going to be gathered. He going to sift them from among the Gentiles. But the ones that's going to gather is going to be his sheep because of the statement he made, my sheep
Hear my voice.
hear my voice. I will gather, so it's going to be a remnant. All right, go ahead.
Out of all the countries
Where?
whither I have driven them.
Uh-huh.
And I will bring them again to their folds. And they shall be fruitful.
Remember that. I'm going to bring them again to their foes, right? That's their kind, right? And what?
They shall be fruitful.
And they're going to be fruitful and
Increase.
that's the amen. What else?
And I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them.
And he did that. That's what you watching in the New Testament.
Feed my sheep.
Exactly. You read this before.
Mm-hmm.
He made a big deal out of this to one of his apostles. Because look, he's appointing, at this time, he's appointing the shepherds who he going to feed his sheep, who he choose to feed his sheep. Mm-hmm. And he said, I will feed them, yes, sir.
And they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed.
Yes.
Neither shall they be lacking, saith Yah.
That's right. Let's go with Ezekiel 34 real quick. Same thing. Ezekiel 34. Pick me up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And the word of Yah came unto me, saying, Son of man,
What you talking about?
prophesy against the shepherds of Israel.
For what? They good shepherds.
Prophesy and say unto them,
What you want me to tell them?
Thus says Yah thy Elohim unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel
Why is that?
that do feed themselves.
Hold on. Who you talking to? The shepherds who?
Of Israel.
Okay, so listen. Now you see why it's a need for a good shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yep.
Because all of the shepherds that they scattering the flock. You doing damage. Right? You violating.
Feed themselves.
He said, woe unto you. You feeding yourself. You ain't feeding the flock. Go ahead.
Should not the shepherd feed the flock?
Isn't that what the shepherd's job is? Feed the flock, water the flock, right? Lead and guide them. Go ahead.
Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe you with wool.
Right.
Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock.
Yes.
The disease have ye not strengthened.
Now he talking about his sheep.
Yes.
You offering lame sacrifices to me, like it said in Malachi. You haven't healed the sick and the disease. Right? Go ahead.
Neither have ye healed that which was sick. Neither have ye bound up that which was broken.
And now this is what a shepherd job is. If a sheep gets sick, he's supposed to heal it, or help it get healed, or bound up it if he got a wound or a broken leg. You're supposed to bound it up, right? All this type of they're your job. It's your job to protect and look after the sheep. Go ahead.
Neither have ye brought again that which was driven away. Neither have ye sought that which was lost.
See, it's some lost sheep, ain't it?
Yep.
They scattered, they lost. It's your fault. You haven't tried to go recover, heal, nothing. Go ahead.
But with force and with cruelty have you ruled them.
Yes, sir.
And they were scattered.
And
because there is no shepherd. And they became meat to all the beasts of the field.
That's all the other nations. Once again, they became meat to a prey to all other nations. Go ahead.
When they were scattered. My sheep wandered through all the mountains.
Yes, sir.
And upon every high hill. Yeah, my flock was scattered upon all the faces of the earth.
You see that? Where were they scattered at?
Upon all the face of the earth.
So what a good shepherd gonna do?
Recover.
He gonna go get them. He might not be able to recover them all, but he ain't gonna take a total loss, is he? Go ahead.
And none did search or seek after them. Therefore, ye shepherds,
What?
hear the word of Yah.
What you talking about?
As I live, said Yah thy Elohim. Surely, because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd.
Yes.
Neither did my shepherds search for my flock. But the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock. Therefore, O ye shepherds, hear the word of Yah. Thus saith Yah thy Elohim.
What?
Behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand.
Who would want to be a shepherd? Huh? Go ahead and read.
And cause them to cease from feeding the flock.
He ain't playing no games with these shepherds, is he? He gave them ample opportunity, and they blew the mission every time. What you gonna do?
Neither shall the shepherd feed themselves anymore, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. For thus says Yah thy Elohim.
What?
Behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out.
You see that? Because remember, Jeremiah told he's going to get a remnant. He said, so we got to go search for him. We got to go seek them out. Seek them out from where? Among the other nations. Right? How are you going to do that?
As a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep.
You see that? Acceptable time. In the day that he's among his sheep.
That are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep. And I will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day.
You see that? And they went back to the time again. Right, go ahead.
And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries.
Yes.
And will bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and all the inhabited places of the country. And I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be.
Ain't that what Psalms 23 said? Feed them and cause them to lie down in the green pasture. Right? Go ahead.
There shall they lie in a good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel.
What else?
I will feed my flock,
and
I will cause them to lie down.
That mean he comfort them. They in comfort when they lying down. They ain't worried about the wolves coming in. Because he protect them. Go ahead.
Saith Yah thy Elohim.
Yes, sir.
I will seek that which was lost.
And
bring again that which was driven away.
What?
And will bind up that which was broken. And will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment.
You don't want judgment. Go ahead.
And as for you, O my flock, thus saith Yah thy Elohim.
Yes, sir.
Behold, I judge between cattle and cattle, between the rams and the he goats. See me there a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture, but ye must tread down with your feet the residue of your pastures, and to have drunk of the deep waters, but ye must foul the residue with your feet.
Uh-huh.
And as for my flock, they eat that which ye have trodden with your feet, and they drink that which ye have fouled with your feet.
You polluted everything you were supposed to give them. What verse? 21, 20? Go ahead.
Therefore thus saith Yah the Elohim unto them, Behold, I, even I, will judge between the fat cattle and between the lean cattle.
Verse 22. Go ahead.
Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey. And I will judge between cattle and cattle. And I will set up one shepherd over them,
Yes.
and he shall feed them.
Uh-huh.
Even my servant David,
Yes.
he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd.
That's right. Okay, so he gonna come out of David's lineage. He ain't talking about King David that died, right? But one significant thing about the flock when David was king,
United.
they was united. The house of Israel and the house of Judah was united,
Yes.
and that's what he gonna do again. He's saying, you the one, the pastors, the shepherds that I lent the flock out to, you the one caused them to be scattered. You the one caused them to go diving into idolatry. Right? You can see that with I think it's 1 Kings, the 12th chapter. Soon as the nation of Israel separated from the nation of Judah, Nebat, the son, what is his name? Jeroboam. He caused the people to start serving idols. And from that day forward, the nation of Israel never was able to recover. They was perpetually stuck in idolatry. Right? Perpetually stuck in idolatry. So that's what he's talking about. What verse?
24.
Mm-hmm.
And I, Yah, will be their Elohim.
Yes.
And my servant David, a prince among them. I, Yah, have spoken it.
Verse 25.
And I will make with them a covenant of peace. And I will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land.
You see that?
Yes.
He said, that's the same thing I'm going to give you for a covenant of the people. Same thing. Go ahead.
And they shall dwell safely in the wilderness,
Uh-huh.
and sleep in the woods.
Okay.
And I will make them in the places round about my hill a blessing.
Yes.
And I will cause the shower to come down in its season. There shall be showers of blessings.
Okay, let's drop down to verse 30. Go ahead. So they ain't going to be ashamed no more. Go ahead.
Thus shall they know that I, Yah, their Elohim, am with them, and that they, even the house of Israel, are my people.
You see that? Who he talking about?
House of Israel.
He said they going to know that they are my people. Because at first he said they are not my people. But when he do this work, they going to know. First of all, they going to know who I am. Because they don't know who he is because they've been serving other gods. He said they going to know who I am, that I am the Lord their God, and I'm with them. Even the house of Israel, they are my people. Go ahead.
Saith Yah,
Uh-huh.
thy Elohim.
What happened?
And ye my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men.
Or who?
Men.
You see that? So the sheep that we've been talking about is really what?
Men.
Go ahead.
And I am your Elohim.
What?
Saith, I am your Elohim.
Uh-huh.
Saith Yah.
We got that. We understand that? John, the 10th chapter. You know, see, not only is he the shepherd, he also is that living water. Right? John 10. Pick him up at 1. Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto you,
What you mean?
he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
Okay.
To him the porter openeth, and the sheep heareth his voice.
Who hear his voice?
The sheep.
The sheep hear his voice. This is how they're going to be gathered. This is how the remnant is going to be gathered by his voice. They're going to recognize. He said, my sheep hear my voice. Go ahead.
And he calleth his own sheep by name,
The house of Israel. Yes.
and leadeth them out.
Mm.
And when he putteth forth his own sheep,
Is that what a shepherd does?
yes, sir.
He lead them. And remember, he said he's going to lead them beside the still waters. Huh? And he said when he put it forth his own sheep, what happened?
He goeth before them,
Because he leading them. Right? That's where it go before. Go ahead.
and the sheep follow him.
The sheep follow him.
For
Why?
they know his voice.
What about a stranger?
A stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him.
Yes.
For they know not the voice of strangers.
So even though they amongst all of the strangers, they're going to flee once they hear the shepherd's voice. Go ahead.
This parable spake Yeshua unto them,
See, this is a parable. Come on.
but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them.
I know. Come on.
Then said Yeshua unto them again,
What did he say?
Verily, verily, I say unto you,
Truly, truly, I say unto you,
I am the door of the sheep.
I'm the door of the sheep. Because at this time, you know what the shepherd do? He got the sheep in like a little cage made of thorns and thistles. And he got a little doorway, right, with no door. So what happened is the shepherd lie down where the door would be. He becomes the door. That's why he said right here, I'm the door of the sheep. So if anybody want to get past, you want to get to my sheep, you got to come through the door. You try to come up some other way, you just like a thief and a robber. Because a thief and a robber ain't going to go through that door. So he keep the sheep from coming out. He protect them from coming out. So we got to go out, even got to go out before then. He keep the wolves and anything from coming in also. He the door. Go ahead.
8. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers.
Yes.
But the sheep did not hear them.
Yes.
I am the door. By me, if any man enter in,
What he going to find?
he shall be saved.
He shall be what?
Saved.
That's it right there. He shall be saved. Go ahead.
And shall go in and out and find pasture.
Yes.
The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy.
Uh-huh.
I am come that they might have life,
What kind of life?
and that they might have it more abundantly.
Continuously. Everlasting or eternal life. So he just like fountains of living water. Never run out. What else?
11. I am the good shepherd.
You see that? So remember Psalm 23 said the Lord is my shepherd.
Yes.
Now we finding out what type of shepherd he is. What type of shepherd is he?
I am the good shepherd.
What you mean?
The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
You see that? What does the good shepherd do?
Giveth his life for the sheep.
That's right. So they can live. Go ahead.
But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd,
Those the ones we was reading about in Jeremiah and Ezekiel. Go ahead.
whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf cometh, and leaveth the sheep and fleeth. And the wolf catcheth them,
And
scattereth the sheep.
that's how they got scattered. The shepherds that he left them to, they left the flock once the wolf came in. And once the wolf came in, the sheep scattered. So they were scattered to the four corners of the earth. Right, you there? Keep rolling.
13. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling,
That's right.
and careth not for the sheep.
Let's drop down to verse 14.
We there.
Okay.
I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep,
Uh-huh.
and am known of mine.
You see that? I know my sheep, and I'm known of mine. What happened?
As the Father knoweth me, even so I the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep.
Yes.
And other sheep I have,
Where they at?
which are not of this fold.
Now, keep in mind, when he said he's speaking to the house of Judah. So you got Judah, and you got Benjamin, and some Levites there. Right? But the rest of the sheep is scattered. The rest of the tribes are scattered. So that's why he tells them, I got other sheep, but they're not out of the house of Judah, they're out of the house of Israel. They're not of this fold. They're not Jews. They of Ephraim or Israel. Go ahead.
Them also I must bring.
You see that? You got a what?
Them also I must bring.
Uh-huh.
And they shall hear my voice.
See, I got to gather them. I got to bring them unto me. Remember, they brought the sheep to the well so that they could be watered. He said we can't water them till we got them, till they all gathered. He See, I got to go bring them. I got other sheep I got to bring. Go ahead.
And there shall be one fold
Uh-huh.
and one shepherd.
There should be one fold.
And one shepherd.
You see that? So they're going to be united. The two houses are going to be put back together under my servant David. But not King David that died. The Messiah. The one that come out of David lineage. The good shepherd. All right, go ahead.
17. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again.
Yeah.
No
when you finish that, drop down to verse 23. Go ahead.
23. And Yeshua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came the Jews round about him and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly.
All right. Remember that. If they was his sheep, they'll be able to hear his voice. They'll be able to understand his words. How long he doing miracles and wonders, they still can't picture who he is. How long you gonna make us to doubt if you the Christ? If you him, tell us plainly. Remember, because he spoke in riddles and parables. Go ahead.
25. Yeshua answered them, I told you, and you believe me not.
So I told you, you just ain't listening. Come on.
The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me.
They tell the works that I do in the name of my Father, they bear witness. They let you know who I am. Go ahead.
But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep.
What?
Because ye are not of my sheep.
You not mine. That's why you don't believe the words. Go ahead.
As I said unto you,
Uh-huh.
my sheep hear my voice.
You hear that, you see? My sheep hear my voice. Go ahead.
And I know them, and they follow me.
I know them and they follow me, yes.
And I give unto them eternal life.
You see that? Go ahead.
And they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand.
That's right. That's that life more abundantly that he was talking about. Go ahead.
My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all. And no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand.
That's right. We got that. Back up to Zechariah 10 right quick. Picking up at verse 6. Go ahead.
And I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph.
You see that? I'm going to save the house of Joseph. I'm strengthening the house of Judah first. Christ had to come through Judah. He had to be the covenant of the people. He had to be the good shepherd. To the Jew first, right?
To the Gentile.
Yes. So then, after he do that, he going to do what, you say?
And I will save the house of Joseph.
Because in verse 3, let you know his anger is kindled against the shepherds. Go ahead.
And I will bring them again to the place, to place them, for I have mercy upon them. And they shall be as though I had not cast them off.
They're going to be back together as one. Go ahead.
For I am Yah thy Elohim, and will hear them.
Yes.
And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man.
That's Israel. That's the 10. They of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man.
And their heart shall rejoice as through wine. Yeah, their children shall see it and be glad.
Yes.
Their heart shall rejoice in Yah. I will hiss for them.
Yeah.
And gather them.
What that mean? I'm a hiss for them.
Search and bring them in.
Huh? That's like a whistle, like a shepherd blowing whistle. Right? I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna hiss for them. And what's gonna happen?
And gather them.
And do what?
Gather them.
That's right. Go ahead.
For I have redeemed them.
But gotta do that first. All right, I have redeemed them. Go ahead.
And they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people.
Because it's a remnant of them. Sow them among the people. In other words, graft the sticks together. So they can become one. Go ahead.
And they shall remember me in far countries.
They shall remember me. Where at?
In far countries.
So even though you're in far countries, my sheep hear my voice. When I hiss, when I call for you, you don't follow a stranger. You're going to come from among those strangers. Because the sheep hear the voice of their shepherd. He said, I'm known to mine, and they know me. All right? Go ahead.
And they shall live with their children.
You see that?
and turn again.
What else?
And I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt,
And where at?
and gather them out of Assyria,
Yeah, these places they've been scattered. And what you gonna do?
and will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them.
Go ahead.
And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away, and I will strengthen them in Yah. And
Yeah, how you gonna strengthen them?
in Yah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And they shall walk up and down in his name, saith Yah.
Yes. Okay, now let's go to John, the 21st chapter. Let's see how he gonna do this here. John 21. This is after Christ paid the price, after he become the salvation. All right, watch what happened. Verse 10. Go ahead.
Yeshua said unto them,
This is his apostles. Go ahead.
bring of the fish, which ye have now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. And for all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. Yeshua said unto them, come and dine. And none of the disciples durst ask him, who art thou?
Yes.
Knowing that he was the Adonai.
Yes, sir.
Yeshua then cometh and taketh bread and giveth them, and fish likewise. This is now the third time that Yeshua showed himself to his disciples.
When?
After that he was risen from the dead.
So this is the third time that he's shown himself to him after he's risen from the dead. All right, remember he was in the grave 3 days, 3 nights. They rolled a stone away, just like you roll a stone away from the well. I had to kind of jump over that. Right? But now he rose. Once they roll a stone away from the sepulcher, he wasn't there. Right? He resurrected. Now after that, this is the third time he showed himself to his apostles after his resurrection. And watch what happened.
15. So when they had dined, Yeshua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas,
Yes.
lovest thou me more than these?
You hear what he said? He said, you love me more than you love your brethren? Go ahead.
He said unto him, yeah, Adonai,
Yes.
thou knowest that I love
He
thee.
said, you know I love you. Go ahead.
He said unto him,
What did he say?
feed my lambs.
He said, feed my lamb. Because remember, he got other flocks that's not of this fold. Not of the fold of him and the Jews and the disciples. So how he going to get them? He said he going to hiss for them.
Give him shit.
Right? He going to call for them. He going to send them pastors or shepherds according to his heart. And they going to go out and get them. And this is what the apostles were doing the entire New Testament. Slanging that gospel about Christ, because the gospel about Christ wasn't well known. So they had to, whatever price they had to pay to get it out, that's what they did. There was much tribulation and trouble and anguish. Most of them was martyred. But they didn't. That's why he asked them, do you love me more than these? Because it's going to take that type of love. Go ahead.
16. He said unto him again the second time,
What?
Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, yeah, Adonai, thou knowest that I love thee.
You say you know it. That's the second time. Go ahead.
He said unto him, feed my sheep.
Mm-hmm.
He said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me?
So what do you want him to do? Feed his sheep. You picking up where I left off. Because I'm going back to the right hand. But you continuing the mission in my name. So it's whatever I teach you, you go out and teach the nations. And when you start spreading that word, you're going to be gathering the remnant in because they know my voice. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, Adonai,
Mm-hmm.
thou knowest all things.
Yes, sir.
Thou knowest that I love thee.
You say, you know I love you, huh?
Yeshua said unto him, Feed my sheep.
That's all I want you to do. That's your mission. Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto thee,
Truly, truly, I say unto you, yes, sir.
when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself and walkest whither thou wouldest.
Now, that's why he had to tell him, give him that example 3 times. Do you love me more than me? Because he let him know what you getting ready to experience, you might die a horrible death. And that's why I'm asking you, do you love me more than these right here? Go ahead.
But when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thine hands, and another shall gird thee, and carry thee whither thou wouldest not.
Mm-hmm.
This spake he, signifying by what death he should glory Yah.
That's right. So basically, through Peter's death, God is going to get the glory. Yah is going to get the glory. The sheep going to be fed. So they gathering the sheep with the word. All right, the word is what they gathering them with. Go ahead.
And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, Follow me.
Mm-hmm.
Then Peter turning about.
That's good. That's good. So he said, follow me. Why? Because that's what he told the sheep. Go to Matthew 28. So he getting ready. He preparing them for the mission to go out and gather the sheep. You there?
Mm-hmm.
Harken to the scripture.
What verse?
Oh, 18. Go ahead.
And Yeshua came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me, in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore, and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father,
Yes.
and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things, whatsoever I have commanded you.
Yes, whatever so I commanded you, yes, sir.
And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world.
Back up to Matthew 10. He said, I'm with you always. Why he had to keep comforting them? Because they're getting ready to go through hell. It's finna be trouble. So he said, go into all nations. Why? Because that's where his sheep are scattered. To the 4 winds. Now when he this is Matthew 10, verse 1. Go ahead.
And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits.
Yes, sir.
To cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these.
What?
The first Simon.
We ain't jump down to verse 5. We ain't gonna go through all the 12 names. You're running short on time anyway. Go ahead.
These 12 Yeshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Right. Now go ahead and finish this right quick.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So basically, when you go into these cities, don't go by the way of the Samaritans. Go to the lost sheep. Where at?
Of the house of Israel.
Because they scattered among the nations. You gather them. You got the same mission that I have. When Yeshua came, say, I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And this is what he's telling his apostles, the same thing. Go ahead.
7. And as ye go, preach.
What?
Saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
And what else should I do?
Heal the sick. Cleanse the lepers.
Remember, that's the job of the shepherd. He got on the shepherds because they didn't heal the disease. They didn't go after the lost.
Bind the broken.
They didn't bind up the broken. And now he said, I'm going to give you pastors according to my heart. That's going to feed you and they're going to lead you. Right? That's what's happening. Go ahead.
Raise the dead. Cast out devils. Freely ye have received.
Yes.
Freely give.
Only way they could do that is if they had the Spirit.
Yes.
The Spirit wasn't going to come until after Christ died and rose. And once they got the Spirit, he told them, now you can prophesy. Now go and tell them. Drop down to verse 16. Go ahead.
Behold, I send you forth.
How?
As sheep in the midst of wolves.
That's why he was telling Peter, do you love me more than these? Go ahead.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Why do I need to do that?
But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them
Yes.
and the Gentiles.
Yes.
But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what ye shall speak.
What you mean?
For it is not ye that speak,
But
the Spirit of your Father, which speaketh in you.
that's right. John the 6th chapter. So they had to have the Spirit in order to do all those miracles and signs and wonders and stuff. John 6, verse 44. Go ahead.
No man can come to me, except the Father which hath sent me draw him.
You see that? What that mean? Draw men. Right? They scattered. No man can come unless the Father who sent me draw them to me. Go ahead.
And I will raise him up at the last day.
What you mean?
It is written in the prophets.
Listen. What is?
And they shall be all taught of Yah.
This is why he was telling Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. All of the ones that's going to be saved and gathered got to be taught of God. See, this is part of the new covenant. See, under the old covenant, you was born into it. You know what I'm saying? You was born into it. And then you learned about God. Under the new one, no, you got to learn about him first in order to enter in. You got to learn about him first. So that means you got to be taught by God. You ain't getting in otherwise. That's why I say I'm the shepherd, I'm the door. So you got to learn first, because that way we can have the same mind, the same spirit. Go ahead.
Every man, therefore, that had heard and had learned of the Father cometh unto me. Not that any man had seen the Father, save he which is of Yah. He had seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life.
Yes.
I am the bread of life.
He said, I'm the bread of life. Also, we're going to see he the living water. But let's go 1 Peter 1. Because remember he told them, feed my sheep. Let's just see real quick. He sent his apostles out as sheep among wolves. It wasn't going to be easy for them. You there? Verse 1. Go ahead.
Peter, an apostle of Yeshua HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of Yah the Father.
So you see who he writing to? He sending the word to? They scattered. They strangers in other people's land, scattered like lost sheep. They became meat to every beast of the field. Now he's sending the apostles out to recover them in perilous times. That's what we're reading. Go ahead.
Through sanctification of the Ruach unto
That's the spirit.
obedience.
Yes, sir.
And sprinkling of the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeah, that's the wells of salvation. All right, go ahead. No, that's good. Back up to James 1. We just seeing real quick. Because remember, the sheep were scattered. How else he going to gather them? He used a chosen shepherds, who he called apostles. Verse 1, go ahead. James 1:1, hearken to the scripture.
James, a servant of Yah, and of the Adonai Yeshua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
So he a servant of Yeshua HaMashiach, right? Go ahead.
Greeting.
He to who? The 12 tribes scattered abroad? The lost sheep. Go ahead.
Greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall in divers temptations. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire and wanting nothing.
That's good. So he gathered them with the gospel unto Christ. Let's see why he would do that. Isaiah 12. So they continued the mission. That's what we've been reading about. Christ jumped it off. He started it. He fed them. He fed his apostles and anybody else who would listen. And he sent them out as sheep among wolves to go and gather the lost sheep that the pastors or the shepherds scattered. Verse 1, go ahead.
And in the day that thou shalt say, O Yah, I will praise thee. Though thou wast angry with me, thy anger is turned away.
And that's what's happening. He was angry with them, but he sent the Messiah to turn away the anger. Go ahead.
And thou comfortest me.
And you what?
Thou comfortest me.
You see it? Ain't that what the shepherd do? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Go ahead.
Behold,
What?
Yah is my salvation.
Yes. Y'all's what?
My salvation.
Uh-huh.
I will trust
And?
not be afraid.
Uh-huh.
For thy Adonai Yahuwah is my strength and my song. He also has become my salvation.
That's right. Who died for the people? Yahushua or Yeshua. He became salvation. Yah's salvation. In a day, in an acceptable time. What else?
Therefore with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation.
You should draw water as well.
Out of the wells of salvation.
Gather the sheep, bring them to the well, we're going to water them. Pick me up at verse 1. Go ahead.
When therefore the Adonai knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yeshua made and baptized more disciples than John,
Mm-hmm.
though Yeshua himself baptized not, but his disciples, he left Judea
And?
departed again into Galilee.
That's right.
And he must needs go through Samaria.
What happened?
Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joshua.
Uh-huh.
Now Jacob well was there.
Jacob's well. Jacob's well was there, right? Go ahead.
Yeshua, therefore, being weary with his journey, sat thus on the well. And it was about the 6th hour.
That's 12. Just like Jacob when we was reading about. High time, high day. That was 12 then. Watch what happened.
There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water.
Just like Rachel came in Genesis 29. All right, go ahead.
Yeshua saith unto her, Give me to drink.
He said, give me some of this water. Go ahead.
For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria?
Right.
For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
That's right.
Yeshua answered and said unto her, If thou knowest the gift of Yah,
If you knew it, the gift of God or the gift of Yah,
and who it is that said to thee, Give me to drink,
if you knew who it was you was talking to, what happened?
thou wouldest have asked of me,
You would have asked of me. What happened?
and he would have given thee living water.
What kind of water?
Living water.
That's what he given to them sheep when he gathered them. Living waters. That's how they can have life abundantly, more abundantly. Go ahead.
The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw water,
Like, you don't even have nothing to draw the water out of the well with. Yes, sir.
and the well is deep.
Uh-huh.
From whence then hast thou that living water?
Where you get that living water from? You don't even have nothing to draw it out of. Go ahead.
Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
This the truth. If we go back to Matthew 12, he been telling the Jews the same thing. He said, he compared. He had to compare himself to Jonah. He said, greater than Jonah is here because the people didn't believe. He said, Nineveh repented at the preaching of Jonah. But you going to be, speaking to the Jews, you're going to be guilty because a greater than Jonah is here. Then he had to tell them about the Sabbath day or the law. He said, you're going to be guilty because there's one greater than the law that's here right now. He kept on telling. Now he telling her the same thing. Go ahead.
Which gave us this well,
That's right.
and drank thereof himself,
Uh-huh.
and his children,
Uh-huh.
and his cattle. Yeshua answered and said unto her,
What verse we at?
13,
Okay.
Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again.
That's the truth. Just like he said about the bread and the manna when he was talking to the Jew, whoever eat of this bread, he said God gave your fathers in the wilderness manna from heaven. But they ate that manna and they died. And he said about himself, if you eat of this bread, because this is the true bread from heaven. If you eat of this bread, you will never die. It's the same thing what he tells. So it's the same parable. We're using water instead of bread. Talking to the Samaritan instead of talking to the Jews. Right? That's how the Hebrews do. We'll tell you the same thing 75 times, 75 different ways. It'll be the same thing. Go ahead.
14. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water,
Yes.
springing up into everlasting life.
Now, this is everlasting water. Whoever I give it to is going to do it. It's going to spring up in them into everlasting life. Go ahead.
The woman said unto him, Sir, givest me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Yeshua said unto her,
Go ahead.
Go call thy husband and come hither.
So let's see what type of water he talking about. He said everlasting water, right? Back up to Jeremiah 2. Pick me up in verse 12. Go ahead.
Be astonished,
Who?
O ye heavens,
Uh-huh.
at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith Yah.
All right.
For my people have committed two evils.
And that's why they desolate. They committed two evils. What's one of them?
They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters.
Who is the fountain of living waters?
Yes, sir.
You see it. Say they have forsaken me. My people have forsaken me. Say I'm the fountain of living water. Go ahead.
And hew themselves out cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water.
Serve idols who can't help you get eternal life. Go to 17th chapter of Jeremiah. Same thing. Verse 12. Go ahead.
A glorious high throne from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary.
That's right. His place, his throne is the place of our sanctuary. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The hope of Israel.
That's right. Who the hope of Israel?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
All that forsake thee shall be ashamed.
So you see how people become desolate? You see how they got scattered? All these that forsake thee, go ahead.
Shall be ashamed. And they that depart from me shall be written in the earth.
Why?
Because they have forsaken Yah, the fountain of living water.
They have forsaken the Lord, or the Adonai, the fountain of living water. Who is that fountain of living water? Go ahead.
Heal me, O Adonai, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for thou art my praise.
Amen. Who the one come to the saving? John 3:16. Just want to know.
But they hidden be Judah. My praise.
Is that what it said? John 3:16. Go ahead.
For Yah so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish,
But what he gonna do?
have everlasting life.
So he gonna have everlasting life. Because he believe on the Son, right? Back up to Zechariah 13:1. I gotta get my little scriptures in, y'all. I'm sorry. You there? Go ahead.
And that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David.
What kind of fountain is this? A fountain of what?
Living water.
And it's open to who?
David.
Had to save the tents of Judah first, so they can go out and recover their brethren. The other flock, the other fold. Go ahead.
House of David.
And
to the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
for what?
For sin.
And
For uncleanness.
to wash it away. Right? To wash it away. John 15. One through 3. Go ahead.
I am the true vine,
Mm-hmm.
and my Father is the husbandman.
Yes.
Every branch in me that beareth no fruit,
This is Yeshua. Every tree that bear no fruit.
he taketh away.
And
every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it,
mm-hmm.
that it may bring forth more fruit.
What you mean?
Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself
He said, "You clean how? Through
through the word."
that I've spoken unto you." The word is washing it away, right? Let's go to Revelation 7. Ephesians 5 would have told us too.
Mhm.
Pick me up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth.
That's where the sheep scattered to. The four winds. So that's how four angels scattered on the four corners, holding the four winds.
That the wind should not blow on the earth,
Uh-huh.
nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Until when?
And I saw four angels ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Yah. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Yah in their foreheads.
Yes.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed.
What you
and
mean?
there were sealed 144,000
Where they come from?
of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
That's good. He just gonna start naming the tribe. Let's skip down. $12. Oh, 13. 13 is good. Go ahead.
And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes?
Say, what are these which are arrayed in right road?
And whence came they?
They came from somewhere.
And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest.
You already know. Go ahead.
And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation,
That's big. Go ahead.
and have washed their robes,
How?
and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
That's right.
Therefore
That's their salvation. That's the water, that salvation out of the wells, right? The blood of the Lamb. Go ahead.
Therefore they before the throne of Yah,
When?
and serve him day and night in his temple. Wow.
Go ahead.
And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them.
That's right. Finna
They-
find out who that is. Go ahead.
They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more.
That's what the shepherd does.
Comfort.
He comfort them and he feed them and he give them water. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat.
That's right. Protect them. Go ahead.
For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them.
Who gonna do that?
The Lamb which is in the midst of the throne.
Who is the Lamb? Jesus.
Mashiach,
Right? Yeshua. Go ahead.
shall feed them, and shall lead them unto the living fountains of water.
You see that? Who leading them? The Lamb. Where he leading them to?
Living fountains of water.
Yep. So once we gather the sheep in, now we can feed. Now we can water them. He leading them to the. So in other words, he gathering them. Like a shepherd go out before him, he lead them. He come in behind them. And where is he leading them to?
The living fountains of water.
And what's gonna happen?
And Yah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
That's good. So all of that sorrow and trouble and travail they was going through, he eliminated it. He said, my sheep know my voice. They come to me, and my rod and my staff, they comfort them. You like sheep that is by green pasture, lying down in green pastures. You understand? He gathered his sheep. His sheep heard, his sheep obeyed the word, and they came to him. Right? One more spot. Give me Ephesians, the 5th chapter. So he had to pay the price to get him now. Led all the sheep to the well, where they drew out that living water, which was him. Verse 1. Go ahead.
Be ye therefore followers of Yah,
Mm-hmm.
as dear children,
That's who?
as dear children.
Uh-huh. Because remember, the sheep, the flocks is men. Right? So follow me, because I'm leading you. Right? Go ahead. And this is how he lead them. Go ahead.
And walk in love,
How?
as the Mashiach also had loved us,
That's right. Go ahead.
and had given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Yah for a sweet smelling savor.
This what I need you to do.
But fornication
Mm-hmm.
and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becoming saints.
'Cause this what got you scattered in the beginning. Now when I gather you, I done led you to the fountain of living water. I don't need you partaking in this stuff. Flee these things. Go ahead.
Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks.
That's right.
For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person,
Yes.
nor covetous man,
Uh-huh.
who is an idolater,
Right.
hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach and of Yah.
Yeah, because that's what the word does, or the living water. It cleanses you from all of these acts and all of this filth. And that's why he leading you to the fountains of living water, so you can get away from all of this stuff. So now that the two of us can walk together because we agree. Now you look like my bride. Now you look like my flock, which I'm the shepherd of. Right? Go ahead.
6. Let no man deceive you with vain words.
What you mean?
For because of these things cometh the wrath of Yah upon the children of disobedience. Be not ye therefore partakers with them.
Be what?
For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in Yah. Walk as children of light.
Walk as children like that's what he is, remember? He said, I'm the light of the world. So he tell you to do the same thing. Drop down to verse 24. Go ahead.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Mashiach,
Is it?
yes,
Go ahead.
so let wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Oh, man. Yes.
Husbands,
Uh-huh.
love your wives,
Like what?
even as Mashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Oh, man. Because that's what the good shepherd does, right? He said, that's what the good shepherd does, right? He
Yes.
said, I'm the good shepherd. I lay down my life for the church or the assembly. Go ahead.
26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it
Cleanse it how?
with the washing of water
How?
by the word.
By the word of God. That's how he watering the sheep, with the word. And it's going to get inside of you and spring up like a fountain of living water. That's what he is. Go ahead.
27.
And this is why he did it. Come on.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing.
Like a sheep that be inspected by the shepherd. The shepherd put the rod on, make them pass under the rod to see if you pass the inspection. See if we don't have any spots or blemishes. Because remember, that's what in the law you got them lambs and stuff without spot and without blemish. They represent him. So if he the same way, guess what? You part of the flock. Supposed to be the same way. Without spot, without blemish. Because why? He washes you with the water of the word that he might present to himself a glorious church.
Not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing.
But
that it should be holy and without blemish.
that's amen. That's amen. So long story short. Short story long, however you want to look at it. Right? The good shepherd gathered the flock that was scattered by the other shepherds, right? by the shepherds that wasn't no good. So let me see something. One more spot. Because I got to show you what the good shepherd do. John 18. He scattered them. He put the flocks back together as one fold with him being the good shepherd. So no matter where they were scattered, no matter what corner of the earth they were scattered to, he hissed for them by the word of God. He trained up other shepherds to go out and gather the dispersed and bring them back to him. And clean them, right, with the water of the word, right? John 18, pick me up at verse 8. Go ahead.
Yeshua answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way, that the saying might be fulfilled which he spake. Of them which thou gavest me, have I lost none.
So you see what the good shepherd do? How many do he lose?
None.
That's why he gave him a parable about the 100 sheep. If a man have 99 and he lose one, do he not go after that which is scattered, which is what he did with the northern nation? He went after the scattered and he got him. And guess what he said? I have lost how many?
None.
That's it right there. So I hope we got some understanding in Yeshua's name. I know I took up a lot of your time, but I appreciate you. Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.